Most people say the day they will always remember is their wedding day, the birth of their first child, or winning the lottery. For me, it was the day my wife asked me for a divorce. I can still feel the deep shock that ran through my body when I heard her words. The pain was unbearable, and I fell to my knees, tears streaming down my face. I couldn't understand how things had come to this. My mind was racing, thinking, how did I not see this coming? She had told me again and again that she wasn't happy, but I never really believed she would leave. I thought I had time, that we would work things out. But I was wrong. When a woman is done, she is done. What I didn't realize was that with each day that passed and nothing changed between us, she was secretly planning her way out. The good news is that there are ways to prevent this from happening. If I had paid more attention to the signs that she was losing hope in our relationship, I might have been able to turn things around before it was too late. Welcome back to the land of the Stoics. There's nothing better than sipping a cup of tea and enjoying videos with us. Wishing you a peaceful day as you embark on this exciting journey. If you're ready, drop a 100 in the comments. Here are 6 subconscious signs a woman is about to end things with you. 1. She stops initiating conversations. When a woman is done with you, the signs are often subtle at first, but they gradually become clearer if you're paying attention. As a high-value man, it's crucial to notice these signs early so you don't waste your energy on something that's already slipping away. One of the most telling signs is when she stops initiating conversations. Think back to the days when your phone buzzed constantly with her messages, whether it was a random meme, a casual hey to check in, or just to share something that reminded her of you. If that's turned into silence, it's a red flag that can't be ignored. Her enthusiasm to connect has waned, and it's not a game anymore. It's a sign she's emotionally withdrawing. In the realm of Stoicism, it's essential to recognize this as an opportunity to reflect rather than react impulsively. Epicurus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Rather than chase after someone who's distancing themselves, a high-value man must find peace in his own actions and decisions, focusing on maintaining stoic happiness regardless of external circumstances. If you find yourself always being the one to start conversations, it's like trying to keep a bonfire alive with damp wood, exhausting, frustrating, and ultimately pointless. In the world of Stoicism, this is where self-discipline and self-worth come into play. 2. Her responses become short and distant. When a woman's responses shift from engaging to short and distant, it's a sign you cannot afford to ignore. As a high-value man with a stoic mindset, you take a deep breath and text her, putting your thoughts and feelings into words. But what do you get back? A cold, dismissive K or fine. It stings, doesn't it? Once upon a time, your chats flowed effortlessly, filled with enthusiasm and long, thoughtful messages. Now those days seem like a distant memory, and every conversation feels like you're pulling teeth just to get more than a one-word response. Her replies have shrunk down to single letters, emojis, or even worse, those dreaded red receipts with no reply at all. If you find yourself constantly starting the conversation and getting almost nothing in return, that's a glaring red flag. It's a sign that she's emotionally withdrawn, and it's highly likely she's already contemplating her exit. Let me tell you a story that might resonate with you. A friend of mine, Mike, was in a similar situation. He had been seeing this woman for a few months, and in the beginning, everything was great. They would talk for hours, exchange stories, and there was a real connection. But over time, something shifted. Her responses got shorter and less frequent, and she seemed distracted during their conversations. Mike didn't want to believe that things were changing, so he ignored the signs and kept pushing forward, hoping things would get back to how they used to be. But the more he tried, the more distant she became, until one day, she simply stopped replying altogether. Mike learned a tough lesson by clinging to what was. He had missed the opportunity to focus on what is. As a man with a stoic mindset, you must recognize these signs early and understand that it's not about chasing someone who no longer values your presence. It's about recognizing your own worth and knowing when to walk away. Do you dare to leave when you feel there is no fit? Do you dare to let go, to return to yourself? If you dare, comment "I dare." If that is not enough to convince you, let me know your current thoughts, or simply comment "I need to think more." Recognizing the shift in communication. Now think about your situation. Have you noticed this shift in her communication? Are you constantly trying to revive a conversation that feels like it's on life support? A high-value man understands the power of silence and walking away when necessary. If her responses have become short and distant, it's crucial to acknowledge that she may have already checked out emotionally. Ask yourself, are you holding on to something that's no longer there? Are you wasting your time trying to reignite a connection that's already fizzled out? A stoic man doesn't cling to what he cannot control, nor does he allow himself to be disrespected by someone who doesn't reciprocate his efforts. At the end of the day, it's not about trying to win her back through more texts, more calls, or more effort on your part. It's about recognizing that you deserve someone who will meet you halfway, someone who values the connection as much as you do. The most valuable lesson for a man with a stoic mindset in this situation is to protect your energy. Don't chase after someone who has already distanced herself. By doing so, you reclaim your power and open yourself up to new possibilities, ones that align with the high-value man you are becoming. If you find this video good, please tip me $2 so I can give it to the content writer immediately. If you find it bad, please comment below so I can fire him immediately. 3. She avoids spending time with you. When a woman is done with you, one of the most glaring signs is that she avoids spending time with you. Picture this. Every time you suggest hanging out, she's suddenly busier than a CEO on Wall Street. There's always a reason. Plans with friends, a headache, or even a pet goldfish in desperate need of emergency surgery. The excuses stack up, and each one is as convenient as the next. But are you really paying attention to what's happening here? This is more than just a case of bad timing. When a woman is done, your invitations no longer hold the same appeal. They start to feel like inconveniences to her, and she's crafting distance, intentionally or not. It's crucial to recognize this because, as the old saying goes, if they wanted to, they would, and that's true here. People make time for what they value, so if she's avoiding you repeatedly, it's not just that she's busy. She's likely sending a clear message that her priorities have shifted, and they don't include you. Think about it. Have her excuses become more vague and more frequent? Are plans constantly falling apart at the last minute with no real effort to reschedule? If you're seeing more of her reasons for why she can't meet up than actual face-to-face time, that's a red flag. She's putting up walls, creating emotional distance, and as tough as it may be to admit, that distance is saying something loud and clear. She's moving on, and you need to take the hint. 4. She no longer argues or cares about problems. There's a common misconception that peace in a relationship is always a good thing. But, gentlemen, sometimes that silence can be the loudest signal that something is wrong. High-value men must recognize when a woman is done, not just emotionally, but mentally as well. And understanding these signs is crucial for your stoic happiness and growth. When a woman no longer argues or cares about the problems in your relationship, that's not the green light for smooth sailing. In fact, it might just be the storm brewing below the surface. When two people are invested in a relationship, disagreements are inevitable, and they are often a sign of care and commitment. Arguments, when handled maturely, are opportunities for growth. They signify that both partners are willing to put in the effort to make things work. But when she stops engaging, no longer wanting to debate or even discuss the challenges you face together, it's not because she has found inner peace or transcended the conflicts. Instead, it could be that she's already checked out mentally and emotionally. Apathy, not anger, is the real relationship killer. As epic teachers once said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And if her reaction is no reaction at all, it's a glaring signal that the relationship has run its course. Stoicism today teaches us to be present and mindful of the energy in our relationships, whether good or bad. Many men might think that the absence of fights means the relationship is going well. But let me tell you, a relationship without any friction isn't always a sign of harmony. When a woman stops arguing, stops caring about resolving even the smallest issues, it's like she's waved a white flag. She stopped investing in the relationship because, in her mind, it's no longer worth the fight. Recognizing emotional detachment. This isn't a passive state of calm, but rather a complete detachment from the partnership. High-value men must be aware of this shift. As Stoic life lessons teach us, we must embrace reality as it is, not how we wish it would be. The reality here is that no arguments could mean she's emotionally moved on. Think about modern relationships, where distractions are endless, and it's easy for partners to drift apart without even realizing it. In today's fast-paced world, when someone checks out, they often do so quietly, without dramatic exits or bold declarations. It's that slow, creeping detachment that becomes the real danger. The power of silence in modern relationships. Stoicism today helps us build resilience and awareness, and part of that is recognizing when someone's actions, or lack thereof, are telling you more than their words. If her response to relationship issues becomes a shrug or whatever, it's not because she suddenly mastered the art of being unbothered. She's already mentally moved on, and her silence is her way of telling you that the relationship has reached its end. In modern life, it's easy to mistake apathy for peace, but for those of us who follow Stoic happiness and principles, we know better. As high-value men, it's vital to stay alert to these subtle shifts. The absence of conflict doesn't mean the absence of problems. Sometimes it means the problems have become so insurmountable in her eyes that she's decided they're not worth solving anymore. 5. She spends more time on her phone around you. If you've noticed that lately, when you're together, she's spending more time scrolling through her phone than looking at you, then it's time to pay attention. This is one of the clearest signs she's checked out of the relationship. It's like you're sitting right next to her, but you feel miles apart, and that's not just about physical distance, it's emotional. If you're finding yourself in a situation where you have to compete with her Instagram feed for her attention, chances are she's mentally checked out long before you noticed. Sure, everyone glances at their phone now and then, but when a woman consistently chooses her screen over spending real quality time with you, there's something deeper going on. High-value men who have mastered the Stoic mindset know how to read these cues because they understand that actions always speak louder than words. Her phone becomes more than just a device. It's an escape, a sign that the connection between the two of you is starting to fade. She's not engaging in the moment because, in her mind, she's already swiping left on your relationship. The thrill of connecting with you has been replaced by the distraction of strangers' lives online. When she's more invested in what other people are doing than what's happening between the two of you, it's clear she's seeking entertainment and validation elsewhere. Don't take this lightly. It's about more than just a cat video being more captivating than your conversation. Think about it like this. You're having dinner together, and instead of sharing stories or enjoying each other's company, she's constantly glued to her phone, refreshing her feed. You try to spark a conversation, but it barely takes off because her attention is divided. This isn't just about bad manners. It's a sign of something much bigger, and the modern world we live in makes this all too easy. In fact, many men have found themselves in this exact scenario, wondering when they went from being the main character in her story to a background actor. Do you agree with that? If so, please comment yes, or if you have other thoughts, please share with me. I knew a friend, let's call him Jake, who used to experience this with his girlfriend. Every date night turned into him sitting across from her while she updated her Snapchat, lost in a sea of selfies and likes. The more he tried to talk, the more she drifted away until one day, he realized that he wasn't the one she was truly interested in anymore. He was competing with her online life, and that was a battle he couldn't win. So ask yourself, does this sound familiar? Do you often feel like her phone has become her companion and you're just there? These are not small signs. They're telling you something important. A Stoic man, someone who values his self-worth and practices the principles of Stoicism, would not ignore these signs. Instead, he would address them calmly with clarity, because he understands his value and won't accept less than a relationship that is mutually engaging. The key lesson here is not to get lost in emotional frustration, but to observe, reflect, and take action. High-value men never beg for attention. They recognize when their energy is better spent elsewhere. The Stoic mindset teaches us that we can't control other people's actions, only our own reactions. If she's checked out, you must have the strength to walk away and invest in yourself and in someone who values and respects your presence. So, what will you do? Will you continue to fight for her attention, or will you rise above, showing her and yourself that you deserve more? 6. She stops talking about the future together. When a woman is truly done with you, one of the first, most subtle signs is that she stops talking about the future you once dreamed of together. Remember how she used to say we all the time? It was, we should do this, or we could go there. Painting pictures of a future filled with shared moments and big plans. Whether it was imagining trips, discussing moving in together, or even daydreaming about what you'd name the dog you'd adopt. Those conversations made it clear you were part of her vision. But when she starts speaking in singular terms like I might do this, Or I've been thinking about doing that. It's a shift that's hard to ignore. Suddenly, you notice her weekend plans don't involve you, and she's no longer considering how her decisions might affect the both of you. The someday that used to connect the two of you in possibility has quietly disappeared, leaving you on the outside of a new independent world. At first, it might feel small, almost trivial, but in reality, these subtle shifts in language are the warning bells you can't afford to miss. When we turns into I, she's no longer seeing you in her long-term picture, and that's a red flag you, as a high-value man, must not overlook. As Stoicism teaches us, emotions and desires can often cloud our ability to see things clearly. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Ask yourself, have you been ignoring the signs because it's easier to pretend nothing's changed, or are you prepared to face the uncomfortable truth that she may be mentally and emotionally preparing for life without you? This is where Stoic life lessons become so essential. Recognizing the reality of the situation without letting it crush your spirit is key. It's not just the grand gestures that fade when a woman is done with you. It's the little things that pile up over time. She's no longer excited to make weekend plans with you or consult you when making decisions. She stops asking for your opinion on things she once valued, and there's an emotional distance that wasn't there before. It's not just about pulling back on big, life-changing plans like moving in together or talking about marriage. It's the smaller details, the ones that made you feel like a team, that start to dissolve. Those moments where she considered your thoughts, your schedule, your desires, those connections begin to erode. The idea of someday has vanished, and in its place, she's plotting her own solo path forward. But here's the real question you need to ask yourself. What are you going to do about it? Stoicism teaches us not to react impulsively or out of fear, but to calmly observe and accept reality as it is. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Are you going to hold on, desperately trying to cling to something that may already be lost? Or are you ready to accept that this chapter might be closing and it's time for you to turn the page and focus on your own growth? As you reflect on these shifts, it's crucial to ask yourself these questions. What is Stoicism teaching me about facing difficult truths? Am I living in alignment with the Stoic mindset by acknowledging what is happening in front of me? Or am I allowing my emotions to steer me into denial? Remember, a high-value man understands that not every relationship is meant to last forever, and sometimes walking away is the highest form of self-respect. So, if you're noticing that the we has disappeared from her vocabulary, it's time to recognize that she may already be envisioning a future without you. While that might sting, it's also an opportunity for you to realign with your own path, guided by the principles of Stoicism and the wisdom it offers. Ever get the feeling that you're being played? Like there's some kind of secret language women speak and you're just not in on it? Trust me, I've seen too many guys get their hearts crushed, their time wasted, and their lives turned upside down, all because they fell for the same tricks over and over again. But today, we're going to change that. We're breaking down the 13 biggest deceptions women use, tactics that can cost you your time, money, and dignity. But don't worry, once you know what to look out for, you'll be immune to these games. So, stick with me, and let's get into it. Deception 1. the too busy excuse. You send her a message. You see that it's been delivered, maybe even read, but no reply. Hours go by, then days. Finally, she hits you with, "Oh, sorry, I've been so busy." Sound familiar? Here's the reality. When someone's interested, they make time. She could be juggling work, friends, and family. But if she really likes you, she'll find a way to let you know. I had a friend who was always giving a girl the benefit of the doubt with her slow replies. Turns out, she was entertaining other guys on the side. Don't fall for the excuses. If she's leaving you hanging, it's time to move on. Deception 2. The "you're too good for me" line. This one might feel like a compliment at first. You think she's saying you're some kind of catch. But the truth, it's a soft rejection. She's essentially saying you're not what she's looking for, but she's trying to let you down easy. I've seen this line destroy guys' confidence, making them feel like they're the problem, when, really, she's just not that into them. Remember, someone who genuinely wants to be with you won't try to push you away. Don't let this line string you along. Recognize it for what it is and walk away with your self-respect intact. Deception 3. Looks don't matter to me. How many times have you heard this? I don't care about looks or money, but let's get real. Appearance, status, and success do matter. It's not about being materialistic. It's human nature. People are drawn to those who stand out, who excel, and who offer stability. There's science behind it. Women are often subconsciously attracted to those who can provide and protect. It's not just about being a millionaire. It's about showing that you have drive and ambition. Don't believe the words. Watch the actions. She'll always be drawn to the best version of you that you can put forward. Deception 4. It meant nothing. I still love you. This one's a gut punch. If she's cheated and says it didn't mean anything, she's playing with fire and your heart. Cheating always has a reason behind it. Whether it's dissatisfaction, boredom, or simply seeing an opportunity. It's never as harmless as it's made out to be. I've seen this lie ruin relationships because the guy convinces himself it was a one-time mistake. But once the trust is broken, it's nearly impossible to get back to where you were. Don't let this lie blindside you. If someone's been unfaithful, take it as the wake-up call it is, and decide what you truly deserve. Deception 5. I'm not ready for anything serious. This line is the ultimate letdown. She says she's not looking for anything serious, but if Mr. Right walked into her life, she'd be ready in a heartbeat. This isn't about timing, it's about interest level. If she really saw a future with you, she'd make room for it, no matter what else is going on. I've known guys who wasted years waiting for someone who kept saying they weren't ready. Then suddenly, she was all in with someone else. The takeaway: don't stick around hoping she'll change her mind. If she's not ready for something serious with you, it's time to be serious about finding someone who is. Deception 6. I've never felt like this before. This one's designed to make you feel like you're the exception, the one who's finally broken through her walls. But often, it's just another line, a way to keep you invested, I've seen this used on multiple guys at the same time, each one convinced he was the special one. It's a tactic to keep you hooked, to keep you trying harder, because who doesn't want to feel like they're unique? The truth is, words are just that, words. Look at how she treats you, not just what she says. If she's not backing up her words with actions, it's just noise. Deception 7. I'm just looking for something casual. This is a tricky one, because it's often used to keep you on standby. She wants the attention without the commitment, and as soon as someone else catches her eye, you're left in the cold. I've seen too many guys get caught up in this cycle, thinking if they just hang on a little longer, things will get serious. The reality is, if she's not prioritizing you now, she's not going to suddenly change her mind. If you're looking for more than just a casual fling, make sure she's on the same page, or you'll just end up wasting your time. Deception 8. I need space. This one can feel like a slow death for a relationship. Sometimes, space is necessary. People need time to sort through their emotions or deal with their own issues. But often, it's a slow fade, a way to distance herself without having to outright say it's over. I've seen it time and again. She says she needs space, and the next thing you know, she's disappeared completely. If she's constantly asking for space, it's time to reassess what's really going on. Someone who genuinely wants to be with you won't need that much distance. Don't let this line keep you hanging on. Deception 9. I'm different from other girls. This one's meant to make her seem special, like she's not into the usual games. But actions speak louder than words. Everyone wants to be seen as unique, but if her behavior doesn't back up her claims, it's just another line. I've seen this used to create an illusion of exclusivity, to make you think you're dealing with someone unlike anyone else. But if her actions are the same as everyone else's, then she's not the exception. She's just part of the same pattern. Don't be fooled by the packaging. Watch what she does, not just what she says. Deception 10. I'm not like other girls. This phrase is designed to make her stand out, to make you believe she's a unicorn in a world of sameness. But let's be real, if she has to say it, chances are she's not showing it. This is often a way to justify questionable behavior or to keep you intrigued by suggesting that she operates on a different set of rules. The reality is, genuine uniqueness doesn't need to be broadcasted. It's shown through actions. Watch how she handles challenges, how she treats others, and how consistent she is with her words. If it doesn't align, it's just another line to keep you hooked. Deception 11. I don't want to ruin our friendship. This one is the classic friend zone move. She values your company, enjoys your attention, but doesn't want anything more, and she uses this line to keep you in her orbit without giving you a real chance. It's a delicate trap because it plays on your desire to be close to her, even if it's not in the way you want. I've seen many guys hang around, hoping the friendship will blossom into something more, only to be disappointed when she starts dating someone else. If you're looking for more than friendship, be upfront about it. Don't let this line keep you in limbo. Deception 12. I'm over my ex. She says she's over her past, but every now and then, he sneaks back into the conversation. Maybe she keeps tabs on him through social media, or worse, still reaches out. This is a huge red flag because it means she's not fully present with you. I've seen relationships where the shadow of an ex looms over everything, creating doubt and insecurity. If she's truly over her past, her actions will reflect that. But if she's still hung up, it's a sign that she's not ready to fully commit to someone new. Don't let yourself be a rebound or a placeholder for someone still stuck in their past. Deception 13. I don't need a man. While independence is a great quality, sometimes this line is used to mask vulnerability or to push you away. It's her way of asserting control, of not wanting to seem too eager or needy. But in reality, everyone needs connection, support, and companionship. This line can create distance and make you feel like she's not interested, even if deep down she is. I've seen it used as a defense mechanism to avoid getting hurt or to maintain the upper hand. Understand that real connection requires openness and vulnerability from both sides. If she keeps insisting she doesn't need anyone, it might be her way of keeping you at arm's length. Now you've got a full arsenal of knowledge about the most common deceptions women might use. It's not about becoming jaded or distrusting every word that's said. It's about recognizing patterns and staying one step ahead. Relationships are meant to be mutual, respectful, and honest. When you see through the games and know what to watch for, you put yourself in a position of power. You get to choose who deserves your time, who's worth investing in, and who's just playing around. Remember, you deserve someone who's all in, someone who values you and matches your energy. So keep these lessons close, trust your instincts, and always aim for what's real. After reflecting on the 13 biggest lies women tell, have you started to see what you've missed? Could it be that you've fallen for sweet words without realizing the deeper truths behind them? This brings us to the pivotal question: why did she really reject you? The truth is, a woman's rejection isn't always wrapped in the reasons she gives. Sometimes it's about deeper things like a clash of values or an absence of genuine connection. The bitter truth high-value men must hear is about learning to read between the lines, uncovering the truth, and facing it head-on. By understanding and accepting this reality, you can prepare yourself to respond more wisely in future relationships, avoiding the same pitfalls you once overlooked. Are you ready to embrace that truth? When a woman is using you, she will tell you these 7 sweet lies. The greatest deception men suffer is from their own opinions. Leonardo da Vinci. When it comes to relationships, our perception of what's real and what's not can be clouded by the sweet words we desperately want to believe. Today, we're diving into the 7 sweet lies a woman might tell you if she's using you. These lies are more than just words. They're a powerful tool to manipulate your emotions and keep you in her grasp. As we uncover these truths, think about your own experiences and how these principles can lead you to personal growth and happiness. Have you ever encountered these lies? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's explore this together. 1. Compliment. I love our conversations. When a woman says, I love our conversations, it might seem like a genuine compliment, especially when you're emotionally invested in her. Conversations can create a strong bond, and the feeling of connection can make you believe that you're special to her. However, If these conversations are only happening through text or the occasional phone call, and she consistently avoids meeting in person, this could be a significant red flag. She might be using you as an emotional crutch, a stand-in for the man she truly desires but cannot have at the moment. Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If your thoughts are tinted with hope and expectation, you may not see that she's only keeping you around for convenience. She might enjoy the attention you give her, the emotional support, but she has no intention of taking things further. What is Stoicism, if not the practice of seeing things as they truly are, without the illusions we often create? It's crucial to recognize this behavior and protect your peace. Don't let your feelings be manipulated by someone who only values you for what you can provide emotionally. 2. Compliments about your appearance and qualities. Compliments can be incredibly powerful. When a woman compliments you, it's natural to feel good about yourself. Whether she tells you that you're strong, attractive, or successful, these words can boost your confidence and make you feel valued. But sometimes those sweet words might have a hidden motive. Let me guide you through how to discern whether these compliments are genuine or part of a larger scheme. Imagine this. She showers you with praise about your looks or your qualities. But notice how every time there's a compliment, there's also a request. Maybe she hints at something she desires, but can't afford, like an expensive handbag, or subtly suggests that it would be so helpful if you could cover her bills this month. Perhaps she's pointed out how handy you are, just as the fence in her yard desperately needs fixing. If you find that her flattering words are consistently followed by these requests, it's time to consider whether those compliments are meant to manipulate you rather than genuinely express admiration. Seneca once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." The moment you allow these flattering words to cloud your judgment, you set yourself up for manipulation. After inflating your ego, she may soon ask for a favor or a gift. It could be immediate, or she might bide her time, waiting until you're fully under her spell. This is where the Stoic life lessons come into play. Remain grounded, observe her actions, and be mindful of her true intentions. Modern life presents countless distractions, and it's easy to be swayed by the opinions of others, especially when they're showering you with praise. But, as the Stoics taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Apply this wisdom to your interactions. If a woman constantly praises you and then asks for something in return, see it for what it is, a transaction, not a genuine connection. True Stoicism is about understanding the nature of people and events and responding with clarity and virtue. 3. Compliment. You're a great lover. Let's dive into a scenario that might hit close to home for many men, especially those of you who value maintaining a stoic mindset in relationships. Picture this. You're in a relationship, and she looks you straight in the eye. Her voice as smooth as honey and says, "You're a great lover." Now, let's pause here. Who wouldn't want to hear that? Every man likes to feel like the king of the bedroom, the one who leaves an unforgettable mark. But here's where your Stoic mindset needs to kick in. The Stoics believed in the importance of reason over emotion. As Epictetus wisely put it, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This is precisely the time to employ that wisdom. Sure, Those sweet words might inflate your ego, but they could also be a smokescreen. Are her compliments sincere, or is there a hidden agenda behind them? This is where your discernment comes into play. The compliment might not just be about your prowess in the bedroom. It could be masking something much more significant. Maybe she's trying to make you overlook a mistake she made, asking for forgiveness without actually saying the words. Perhaps she's trying to manipulate you into doing something that benefits her at your expense. This is where the idea of my stoic comes into play. The true essence of stoicism is not just enduring hardship, but thriving in the face of it, maintaining your principles, and not allowing yourself to be swayed by momentary pleasures or emotional manipulations. Remember how Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." If you let these sweet lies cloud your judgment, you might end up sacrificing your peace of mind and integrity for temporary gratification. What would happen if you allowed yourself to be blinded by these flattering words? How would it impact your self-respect and the way you navigate your life? You must always question the motivations behind such sweet talk. Is she building you up just to knock you down when it suits her? Could her words be a subtle form of control, making you feel indebted or overly confident so that you miss other red flags? A stoic man doesn't just listen to words, he reads between the lines. He's aware that actions speak louder, and when words don't align with actions, something is off. Seneca once said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." In relationships, this preparation is your awareness and understanding of human nature. When you prepare yourself mentally and emotionally, you're less likely to be caught off guard by manipulative tactics. 4. Saying "I love you" insincerely. When a woman tells you, "I love you," but something in your gut feels off, it's crucial to pay attention to that inner voice. These 3 words are powerful and carry deep emotional weight, but they can also be misused. Sometimes, "I love you" isn't spoken from the heart, but rather from a place of convenience, manipulation, or even guilt. It's important to recognize that not every hesitant or seemingly insincere "I love you" means she's intentionally trying to deceive you. There are situations where a woman might say it because she feels pressured, maybe because you said it first, and she feels obligated to respond in kind, even if her feelings haven't fully blossomed. In such cases, she's not manipulating you, but navigating the complexities of growing emotions, hoping that her feelings will eventually align with her words. This scenario reflects the challenges of developing affection rather than any malicious intent. However, let's take a closer look at the more troubling scenario where "I love you" is used as a tool rather than a genuine expression of deep emotion. This is where the wisdom of Stoicism becomes invaluable, offering a guide for maintaining clarity and composure in the face of emotional manipulation. Stoicism teaches us to stay calm, rational, and observant, especially in matters of the heart, where emotions can often cloud our judgment. If a woman tells you she loves you, but it feels like there's an ulterior motive, perhaps she's after something you have, like money, status, or your undivided attention, it's crucial to take a step back and assess the situation with a clear, objective mind. This isn't love. It's manipulation. And the sooner you recognize the signs, the better you can protect yourself from getting hurt. To illustrate this point, let me share a story about a man who once confided in me about his experience. He was deeply infatuated with a woman who seemed perfect on the surface, beautiful, charming, and always quick to say, "I love you." But as their relationship progressed, He began to notice that her actions rarely matched her words. She would often ask for favors, financial help, or special treatment, and her declarations of love seemed to conveniently precede these requests. The man, caught up in his emotions, initially dismissed these red flags, wanting to believe in the sincerity of her words. However, over time, he couldn't ignore the pattern that was emerging her. Love was conditional, and it always seemed tied to what he could do for her rather than who he was as a person. Reflecting on the teachings of Stoicism, the man began to understand that true love isn't just about the words spoken. It's about the actions that follow. Genuine love is selfless. It seeks the happiness and well-being of the other person without expecting anything in return. Love is not a currency to be traded for favors or material goods, nor is it a tool for control. As the man started to distance himself emotionally and observe her behavior from a Stoic perspective, the reality became clear. She wasn't interested in him for who he was, but rather for what he could provide. This realization was painful, shattering the idealized image he had of their relationship, but it was also liberating. He saw that by allowing himself to be manipulated, he was denying himself the opportunity to experience real, unconditional love. In recognizing the manipulation, the man took the first step toward reclaiming his self-worth. He realized that love should never feel like a transaction, and no one should ever feel pressured to prove their love through acts of sacrifice that benefit the other person disproportionately. Love, in its truest form, is about mutual respect, care, and support, qualities that cannot be faked or coerced. By embracing Stoic principles, he found the strength to walk away from a relationship that was draining him emotionally and financially, and in doing so opened himself up to the possibility of finding a partner who would love him for who he truly is, without any hidden agendas. This story serves as a reminder that while the words "I love you" are beautiful and can be the foundation of a deep and meaningful connection, they must be backed by genuine intent and consistent actions. If something feels off, if those words are always followed by a request or a favor, it's important to listen to your instincts and evaluate the relationship with a clear, rational mind. Don't allow yourself to be swayed by sweet words alone. Look for the signs of true, unconditional love, and don't be afraid to walk away from relationships that feel manipulative or one-sided. In the end, true love isn't about what you can provide. It's about who you are and the connection you share with someone who values and respects you just as much as you do them. 5. Phrase "You're my hero." When a woman tells you, "You're my hero," it might seem like a scene ripped straight from a romantic movie, where the dashing hero swoops in to save the day, leaving the damsel in distress forever grateful. The phrase can stir powerful emotions, making you feel like you're the strong, capable protector that she admires and depends on. But in the real world, especially in the complex dynamics of relationships, this seemingly innocent compliment can carry a hidden agenda. It's essential to pause and ask yourself, is she truly expressing admiration, or is she crafting a narrative to keep you ensnared in her web? The phrase "You're my hero" taps directly into a deeply ingrained desire in many men to be seen as the protector, the provider, the one who can be relied upon no matter the situation. It's no coincidence that superhero franchises like Marvel have made billions by appealing to this very instinct. They understand the powerful resonance the image of a hero has, with so many men feeding into a fantasy that every man, deep down, wants to be someone's hero. But when these words are used in personal relationships, especially when they're strategically timed, they can be a subtle tool of manipulation, crafted to play on your desires and emotions. When a woman drops this compliment, it's crucial to take a step back and scrutinize the timing. Did she call you her hero right before asking for a favor or seeking some form of assistance? Is she using it to make you feel good about yourself just before she makes a request that might be inconvenient or costly? If the phrase "you're my hero" often precedes a request or a favor, it might not be as genuine as it seems. Instead, it could be a calculated move to soften you up, to tap into your natural instincts to protect and provide, ensuring you're more inclined to say yes to whatever she's asking for. Consider this scenario. Has she ever told you you're her hero, and then immediately followed up with a request that seems to benefit her far more than it does you? Perhaps she praises you for being her hero, only to then casually mention how much she'd love that expensive gift she's had her eye on, or how she needs your help with something that demands a significant amount of your time and energy. This pattern of behavior is a red flag, indicating that her admiration might be less about your character and more about what she can gain from you. Let me share a story that illustrates this point. A friend of mine, let's call him Jake, once dated a woman who frequently told him, "You're my hero," every time he did something nice for her. Initially, Jake felt on top of the world. Who wouldn't enjoy being someone's hero? But over time, he began to notice a troubling pattern. Each time she uttered those words, it was almost always followed by a request. Whether it was picking her up from a distant location, spending hours helping her with a personal project, or even buying her something extravagant, the hero compliment was always a prelude to a favor that often drained him, either emotionally or financially. As this pattern continued, Jake began to feel more like a resource than a partner. It wasn't until he started saying no to her requests that the hero comments stopped altogether, and so did her interest in him. Jake was left feeling used and manipulated, realizing too late that she had been playing him all along. Her admiration wasn't genuine. It was a tactic to get what she wanted. Jake's experience serves as a cautionary tale. It's easy to get swept up in the moment when someone flatters you, especially with such emotionally charged words as "you're my hero." But it's essential to remain vigilant and question the motives behind such compliments. Genuine admiration doesn't come with strings attached, and it certainly doesn't require you to compromise your time, energy, or financial well-being to prove your worth. When you hear those words, consider the context and the timing. Are you truly being admired, or are you being manipulated? By recognizing the difference, you can protect yourself from falling into a trap and ensure that your relationships are built on mutual respect and genuine care, not on manipulation and hidden agendas. 6. Phrase "you don't care about me." Have you ever found yourself in a relationship where, despite all the love and care you've shown, you still hear the gut-wrenching words, "You don't care about me," or "You don't love me"? These phrases, packed with emotional weight, can catch you completely off guard, especially when you know deep down that you've been nothing but attentive and loving. Yet, in moments where you set boundaries or don't comply with every whim, these accusations are suddenly thrown your way. It's crucial to recognize that this can be a powerful and manipulative tactic, one that deserves careful consideration. If you've consistently demonstrated love and care, and yet she resorts to using these phrases, it might be time to reassess the relationship and question her true intentions. The great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This profound statement reminds us that the way a person interprets and reacts to the world is often a reflection of their inner state. If someone is constantly trying to paint your actions with the brushstrokes of doubt and manipulation, it's more likely a manifestation of their own insecurities or desires rather than a true reflection of your behavior. When a woman uses phrases like "you don't care about me" or "you don't love me," especially in the early stages of a relationship or when you're simply trying to establish healthy boundaries, it could be a red flag that she's attempting to manipulate the situation to her advantage. Consider this. Why would someone who genuinely values you and the relationship be so quick to throw such heavy accusations your way? Often, it's because they want to control the narrative. By making you feel guilty, they can manipulate you into bending to their will, ensuring that the relationship continues to benefit them on their terms. This isn't love, it's emotional manipulation. A Stoic mindset teaches us the importance of remaining grounded and not allowing ourselves to be swayed by external influences, especially when those influences are designed to prey on our emotions and twist our genuine care into something that can be exploited. How many times have you found yourself second-guessing your worth or your actions because of someone else's accusations? This is precisely where the wisdom of Stoicism becomes invaluable. Stoicism encourages us to take a step back, observe the situation objectively, and ask ourselves, are these accusations based on truth, or are they simply a tactic to manipulate me? The great Stoic philosopher Seneca advised, "He who is brave is free." In this context, freedom comes from not allowing yourself to be enslaved by others' perceptions of you. It takes courage to stand firm in your values and actions, to recognize that your worth is not determined by someone else's words or attempts to control you. By embracing this Stoic wisdom, you empower yourself to break free from emotional manipulation and to live authentically, guided by your principles rather than the manipulative tactics of others. 7. Advice to be cautious. Imagine this scenario. You're at a restaurant, and every time the bill arrives, you're the one reaching for your wallet. She never even offers to contribute, and when you bring it up, she brushes it off with excuses, maybe even turning the tables by saying that it's your role to provide or that she's too stressed from work to think about such things. This isn't just an oversight. It's a red flag signaling that she may be more interested in what you can do for her than in a genuine partnership. As Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. This applies to relationships as well. A woman who values you will naturally want to share in the responsibilities, not simply benefit from your generosity. But let's delve deeper. Perhaps you've refrained from calling her out on her lack of contribution, maybe because she's convinced you that her financial struggles justify her actions. She might spin a tale about how hard she works and how much she's going through, making you feel guilty for even thinking about asking her to pay her share. She might say, "You don't care about me. You don't love me," as if your love is measured by your willingness to open your wallet. This is where Stoic life lessons come into play. Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." If she is manipulating your kindness to fulfill her desires, this is a clear sign of someone who craves more without giving back, something a wise man should recognize and address. Consider the implications of her asking you to buy her that expensive designer handbag, even if she's struggling financially. Is it truly your responsibility to fund her luxury desires? If she's expecting you to cover her past financial missteps or her extravagant tastes, this is a glaring red flag. As the Stoics would advise, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Reacting with a Stoic mindset means setting clear boundaries and understanding that you're not obligated to fix someone else's financial situation, especially when it's driven by superficial desires. In modern life, many men find themselves in similar situations where they're pressured into supporting a partner's lifestyle that they themselves may not even afford. This isn't about being cheap or unkind. It's about recognizing when someone is using you for their gain. The wisdom of Stoicism teaches us to be mindful of such situations and to prioritize self-respect and mutual respect in relationships. A true partner will understand the value of shared responsibility and won't seek to manipulate you with sweet lies to get what they want. When a woman is using you, she will tell you these 7 sweet lies. Especially through the sweet lies she tells. Understanding these 7 deceptive statements can play a crucial role in safeguarding your heart and guiding you toward making wiser decisions in your relationships. In the world of love and connection, it's easy to get swept up in emotions. But we're here to equip you with the practical wisdom needed to navigate these complexities with clarity and confidence. Recognizing these signs isn't just about protecting yourself. It's about empowering you to grow personally, ensuring your happiness, and fostering healthier relationships. Personal growth and lasting happiness stem from the ability to see the truth, even when it's cloaked in sweet words, and from applying these valuable lessons in your daily life.